Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
And we are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I am Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and well, we're here to bring you the first of 2 races here this evening for Old Timer Tuesday, sponsored by Maurer Farm Management. And for race number 1, we're at the Big E Eldora Speedway. Man, oh man, this is a good one here. It promotes a lot of racing, wide open. You know, you can get that bottom to work, you can get the top to work, and I imagine we'll see Terry Landis trying to catfish down towards the bottom, along with, you know, Jeff Barker. He's good at running the bottom in that 513 machine. But all in all, I believe we have 12 drivers. Yes, 12 drivers. We see have put in times, but sometimes somebody else hides in the session and, you know, doesn't put a lap time down. But for now, just 12 guys here this evening, and coming into tonight, the points, Terry Landis is winning over Greg Voidell by a margin of 12. It's a long gap back to Steve Bixler there, as Terry Landis, he's got 332. Steve Bixler's 284. So go ahead, do the math there real quick. I believe that's a 48-point gap. So Mr. Bixler, I mean, he's going to get some help with drop weeks, so on and so forth, but he's going to have to string together some good finishes if he wants to flirt with winning the championship this year here in the Dirt Retreads division. It's only 6:56, so the driver's still, we got till 7 o'clock here until we get rolling, so plenty of time to experiment and tweak some things here as we ride along. Let's watch Kelly Wheeler take a lap or two here in this 11 machine, or this 110, excuse me. Always forget that little hidden 0 down there. Kelly Wheeler currently the quick time here in warm-up, so he's got it figured out so far, but track is going to change here, and we'll see here. Can we spot him running the bottom in that? Well, he's going to lift off and get ready to go down into the pits. Just trying to test some cameras here a little bit. So sit in turn 4. We see Terry Landis roll by. Armando should be coming up here. Here he comes. Armando Melgoza in the 531. This is, we saw him there earlier. Terry Landis, he's going to mess around with the top a little bit now. Unfamiliar territory for that 161. I mean, he'll go up there and do it for sure, but he likes to claim that bottom. He feels more comfortable down there, and maybe just showing right now that if you want to have speed, you got to be on the top shelf. If Terry's not flirting with the bottom, that makes you think it's not really there. As the librarian here pulls out of the pits with 41 of Pat Boyce. Let's take a look over at the points. Pat, where is Pat in the dirt points? Currently sitting 7th with 247. So Pat, it'd be tough for him to secure a championship here without stringing together some back-to-back wins here. But a real good chance at a top 5 here. Pretty close. I mean, Dean Reynolds has missed a race. He's at 278. Dean Reynolds not here tonight again as well. So going to be using his 2 drop weeks early in that 79 machine. Pretty close. I mean, Dean Reynolds has missed. Sorry, you're going to probably hear me talk back there. I have to double check these, make sure they're not lagging, and for some reason the YouTube app may do it again here. No, I caught it just in time. It was playing my sound, but everything looks good. I see Gary Siegelkow out there in the chat. Well, Gary, you turned the 3rd fastest lap because maybe you're getting a little better, man, here. That's practice makes perfect for Gary Siegelkow, and well, Gary, possibly a fresh track too in the 25. Not too sure how early you went out, but I imagine you're always up there towards the front. Maybe not as comfortable in the dirt as you are on the asphalt side of things, but we always expect to see you towards the front. Here as the checkered flag waves on the end of warm-ups, and we're going to get ready to go into heat race number 1. Qualifying is done randomly here in the dirt retreads. We will qualify in the asphalt race later this evening. But let's go ahead and let's see what the starting grid here for heat number 1 has in store for us. Starting on the pole in the 75, the mayor, Steve Bixler, into his outside in the 014, GJ Boydell. Inside of row number 2, the 7 of Bob DeGood, into his outside, the librarian in the 41, Pat Boyce. Row number 3, to the inside, the 531 of Armando Melgoza, and to his outside, yet to make the call here, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Parker. Got to think Jeff's a guy who could possibly win this thing here, as the 513 does get gridded up. He's a guy who, you would not be shocked here if he's... Well, I would be shocked here if he wins heat race number 1. It's 6 laps. It's going to be tough to come from 6th, but not going to be shocked if that guy is sitting on the top step of the podium after this thing. Jeff Barker, really good in these 358 modifieds, and a track at Eldora, a track that he's very comfortable with. So have to see here as these guys roll into turns 3 and 4. The Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off this time by, and we should get ready to go racing as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps at Eldora. Let's get it done. Steve Bixler trying to rip that inside, but Greg Boydell trying to get momentum under the outside in that 014 as they're side-by-side entering turn 3. Steve Bixler down there in the basement here. Blake Chapman, he's tried to teach him everything he knows about running that bottom here, and it's starting to pay off for this 75 as they're even. But now, Greg Boydell, man, he just hit the NOS there. Found momentum off that top shelf coming out of 2, and he just pulls away as Steve Bixler inches back side by side, and they make contact. Steve Bixler tries to send it in. Not enough room as he gets a little poke from the librarian, Pat Boyce. He's able to save it, but he's going to lose 2 spots as Pat Boyce looks to the basement here. 3 wide. Bob the Good upstairs. Oh, Greg Boydell, hold on. As they go into 1 and 2, we're halfway through. Bob the Good into the outside wall. He's got a lift. Forces Jeff Barker to lift. That allows Steve Bixler, to get back around Jeff Barker, and now he's looking to get around Bob the Good as well. Can Steve Bixler, the mayor, take back 3rd? As of now, can't do it. Through 3 and 4, white flag in the air. Greg Boydell has led the whole way here. Would love to be the leader at the end of this one, but can Pat Boyce say anything about it as we go down the backstretch for the final time? Oh, we saw Bob the Good there go over, but the checkered flag in the air. G.J. Boydell, heat race number 1 winner, followed by Pat Boyce, Jeff Barker, Steve Bixler, and Armando Melgoza. Wild ride there for Bob the Good at the end. A tough break for him. He's going to have to start towards the back of tonight's feature event. As didn't like Bob wrecking there on that last lap. So we're going to have to wait for Iracing to roll us over, as Iracing does roll us over right as I go back and look at that replay. Of course it does. And now we're going to have to, it didn't like how I did that, so now we're going to have to click it live. My apologies about the behind the scenes there. And we're going to have to close SDK. Bring it back up here. And I will have my controls back as, whoops, we want to close that down again. It always pops up when we open up a new server session here. As we'll roll off this real quick. Kelly Wheeler on the pole to his outside in the 63. Shaker Girdham and Steve Maurer to the inside of row number 2. And the Desert Team into his outside in the 161. Gary Siegelkow to the inside of row number 3 into his outside in the 302. John Rayner, as they're going to help me out here. We're going to roll around one more time, actually. So, no reason to rush that. But I did get it in, in case anyone was wondering. It definitely was fixed here as well. On our end here on the screen, it doesn't look fixed, so we're going to have to change one thing here. Bear with us. Should be back. There we go. No double over now, and, well, you get to see that nice little overlay here as we enter turns 3 and 4. For the final time, the Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off, and the 110 of Kelly Wheeler is set to bring us to the green flag. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 2 underway. Let's go play. Kelly Wheeler with a great jump there in that 110, able to slide right up as the 63 of Shaker Girdham tries to counter back as Terry Landis gets into it with the 888 of Steve Maurer. The 302 has to check up. He gets into the outside wall. Terry Landis there. Not too sure if he came down on the 888 or if Steve came up into him, but either way, they make contact, and now the 25 of Gary Siegelkow gets into the 161. Terry, man, he just can't catch a break here early on in heat race number 2, excuse me. And now he's got a big hill to climb there as Gary Siegelkow gets into the back of the 888, and well, man, that 25, he's not making a lot of friends here early on in heat race number 2. As we go up front, the 11 of Kelly Wheeler, or the 110, excuse me. Holding that same gap here to Shaker Gerdeman, staying at about 0.4 of a second. Shaker not really, losing ground, but not really finding any either. As we come around, 2 sticks in the air, 2 more trips around. Terry Landis is safely as soon as I say that, he gets into the outside wall here, and now he's getting a slide job from the 25. He's got a counter back as they come to the white flag. Final time around, battle on for third. As we see Kelly Wheeler roll down the backstretch for the final time. No pressure here for the 110 of Kelly Wheeler as checkered flag flying. He's going to win heat race number 2, followed by Shaker Gerdeman, Terry Landis, Gary Siegelkow, or John Rayner actually edges out Gary Siegelkow. Gary comes home 5th, and Steve Maurer 6th. As we're going to take a real quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with tonight's feature action at the Big E. Stick around. We are back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 30 seconds here left in warm-ups, and Kelly Wheeler in that 110 right now at the top of the warm-up charts with a 15.90. Greg Boydell, P2, Terry Landis, third, as those boys in second and third are dueling it out here for a points championship, so gonna have to keep an eye on the battle between the 161 and the 014. Checkered flag should be waving here on the session. As you see, there he is waving that flag, and well, we're gonna get set for tonight's first feature of the night here at Eldora Speedway, and well, after this, we got the Dallara DW12s at Daytona, I believe. So Stick around. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a good night here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Let's take a look at tonight's feature starting lineup. Starting on the pole in the 014, G.J. Boydell, and his outside in the 110, Kelly Wheeler. To the inside of row number 2, the Librarian in the 41, Pat Boyce, and to his outside in the 63, Shaker Gerderman. The Brewerton Beast lines up on the inside of row number 3 in the 513, and to his outside in the 161, the Desert Demon, Old Smoky, Terry Landis. Inside of row number 4, the Mare, Steve Bixler in the 75, and to his outside in the 302, John Rayner. Armando Melgoza to the inside of row number 5 in the 531, and to his outside in the 25, Gary Sigelkow. Rounding out the field to the inside of row number 6, the 7 of Bob DeGood, and to his outside in the 888, Steve Maurer. Tonight's first feature here is about to get underway. Presented to you by Maurer Farm Management here. 25 laps at Eldora. You know, it's a long race here. Drivers got to be patient. We'll have to see what shows here. But plenty of time to get stuff done as the Steve King Foundation pace car rolls off, this time coming out of 4. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's go play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. The fireworks are off. Kelly Wheeler right away trying to mount a charge there on the outside as you see the flames going off down the front stretch. Kelly Wheeler trying to turn up the burner on the outside here, trying to get some flames rolling on the outside, and we've got a new leader here, lap number 1. Kelly Wheeler leads at the line. Greg Boydell staying on the inside, putting up a good fight for now as we look behind. Oh, Greg Boydell completes the pass here. Good slide job there into 3 and 4. Now Kelly Wheeler goes back down to the basement. Gonna slide up, not enough room to complete it yet, but Greg just laid the blueprint for him on what to do here in 3 and 4. Kelly's gonna slide up there, a lot of grip, and Kelly's got the pass back at the line. I think you'll want to have the bottom in 3 and 4. Not so sure yet about 1 and 2 as Greg Boydell with another big run, but man, oh man, there's so much grip left in the middle of 3 and 4 that it just seems like you'll want that bottom. You'll want to throw that slider line as Kelly Wheeler holds off the field for now. Terry Landis up 2 spots early, that 161 down there in the basement. Trying to get by the Brewerton Beast. He's got the pass done as he enters turns 3. Now he's under the Librarian, Pat Boyce, but Pat trying to take him to school. Oh, the 63 of Shaker Gerderman hard in the front stretch wall. No caution yet as he keeps rolling. Contact with the 888 of Steve Maurer, but they keep rolling. Kelly Wheeler starting to get into a rhythm here, starting to pull away as Terry Land is battling for that final podium spot here in the 161 as he looks under the 41 of Pat Boyce. Pat trying to counter here, maybe thought about cutting under, but Terry just floated it in, wouldn't let him cut under, and Pat had to float up. Now advantage Terry. Terry's got P3 at the line. He holds that final podium spot for now. Not giving up. I told you, that guy loves the basement, and he's going to try to make it work, but he gets into that inside wall. He's going to lose that spot back to Pat Boyce, and well, battling behind him between Jeff Barker and the Mare, Steve Bixler. Steve Bixler to the inside in the 75. Steve trying to charge his way on up. Let's go on board for a lap with Steve Bixler in the 75. Let's see what the Mare sees. Just trying to find some grip here. Enters in probably a little lower than he'd like. You know, would like to keep that hammer down, enter up a little higher in 1 and 2. That cushion builds up rather well. Now 3 and 4 is such a long way around the track. That's why you're not seeing drivers, you know, run right up against that wall. But Jeff Barker right now through 1 and 2, you've seen him pull away these last couple laps. He's nailing 1 and 2. You got to get up there in that cushion. Pat Boyce here, he's been able to get up into P2 working around Greg Boydell. It's Pat Boyce. We're going to have to see, how did that get done here? Gonna rewind really quick here. We will jump right back to live. So Pat Boyce on the outside just was able to get to the top shelf of Greg Boydell as we were watching the battle in the back. But man, oh man, Pat Boyce in that 41, he's really turned up the burner here. 12 laps to go at Eldora. We're a lap over halfway. Battling for third is the Brewerton Beast. Trying to mount a charge on the high side. Terry Landis floats up, cuts off momentum, gets a little shove going into the corner. Jeff Barker trying to find a way around, but man, lost a lot of time there through 3 and 4. When he got into the back of Terry Landis, entering the corner, that really broke all momentum for that 513, and well, now he's got to go back to work. He's got to try to find it again. Kelly Wheeler feels the dragon breathing down his neck here as the librarian just back there with his finger over his mouth going shh, telling Kelly to quiet down because he's coming. The librarian, can he get around him? He's got plenty of time here, but, you know, since he's gotten right behind him, Kelly now really pushing it in the outside of 1 and 2. He's found his groove, and, man, he's turned it back on as the 41 gets into the outside wall. Pat Boyce loses a lot of time there, and, oh, man, you got to think, without a late race caution, hopes of winning this thing may have just went out the window for the librarian here as the bell's going to ring early for the... No, it's not! The 63, you saw him in the outside wall. You're welcome, Pat. A little commentator's curse for you. Gets the 41 back in the race here, and man, oh man, Kelly Wheeler, he is going to be frustrated. Let's go see what happened to the 63 of Shaker Gerderman. That right front's already broken at that point in time, so we're going to rewind here. We're going to go back. That had to be it. So, oh, he wants to avoid the 302 of John Rayner, and when he does, he just gets in that outside wall, and you see that right front. It's just angled out. It's not going where he's turning, and, well, Shaker Gerderman finds himself in the outside wall. A tough break for the 63. Shaggy's pushing the wrong push to talk button here. You'd think it was his first time. My apologies there for that quietness. But, man, the Kelly Wheeler in the 110, he's been the class of the field so far, but now the 41 here of Pat Boyce, he's caught his chance. I mean, you got to ace this restart. You can't let Kelly get a big gap on you. You got to stay as close as you can in that 41. And, man, this is as close to a chance as Pat has had to win a dirt race all year. Is Pat Boyce, yeah, I do know, only one top 5 on the season for Pat Boyce in the dirt. So good run for the 41, but man, he'd love to get one more spot here before this thing's over. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 7 laps left to go, play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. Pat Boyce in the 41 trying to hook up on the outside, but man, Terry Landis, he may take it. No, look at that, the Brewerton Beast here. Jeff Barker in the basement through 3 and 4. Man, oh man, side by side for P2. Easily got by Terry Landis. Where did the 513 come from? Jeff Barker, the man from New York, trying to rip that 513, and Pat Boyce, not too sure what happened to that 41 as he skipped a little bit and now finds himself on the inside. Now, I'm not too sure what we're going to get to see here, and no, we're going to get to see nothing because, well, Pat was lagging out. So now, yeah, you see right when I can select his car, that's when it comes back. We'll try to go back to see if we can see what happened first. We're going to slow it down, but when he blinks out, Pat was just having some type of a connection issue, and that may have been what led to this accident, but we'll try to diagnose it the best we can. He gets into the wall, and, well, when he gets into the wall, it just kind of net codes him. He loses internet. I'm sure he gets into it with someone here invisibly, and that's what, you know, makes him yank down on the inside of the track like it did, but Yeah, we're not going to get anything from this other than when he shows up down here on the inside when he comes back. And, well, we're back under caution for, I believe, the second time here tonight. Only 2 cautions. This has been a great race here, and tough break for Pat Boyce. You know, we talked about him only having 1 top 5 this season, how it was his chance. And, man, oh, man, tough break for the 41 here. As lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace car, and we are set to go back green this time as Kelly Wheeler will have 5 more trips around the sun here. See if he can hold off the Brewerton Beast Jeff Barker, or if Terry Landis or Greg Boydell can get up here and spoil the party. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. We're back underway at Eldora Speedway. Can Kelly Wheeler hold off the field? Jeff Barker going to ride the middle this time. We saw how well the bottom worked in 1 and 2 for him on that restart, but maybe a little more comfortable in the middle here. Is Greg Boydell going to be the first person in that orange machine to look low as Terry Landis runs that diamond line looking to counter. Can he look under the Brewerton Beast here for P2? Kelly Wheeler loves looking up in the mirror in this 110 and seeing these guys race hard here as he comes out of 3 and 4. 3 more trips around for the 110. As they sail it off in here into 2. You see Kelly Wheeler likes that top shelf, but boy, oh boy, look at Terry Landis as he's trying to get in the mix here, trying to steal that middle step of the podium as they come out of 3 and 4. 2 sticks in the air, 2 more trips around. Too close to call there at the line for P2, but you got to think, man, it may be advantage here bottom through 3 and 4, like I said earlier. Let's see here as we roll through 3 and 4. White flag set to be out this time here for the 110 of Kelly Wheeler. Kelly got out front early in that 110. Quickest car in warm-ups. I mean, he's just been a rocket here in this 110. Comes out of 3 and 4. Kelly Wheeler takes the checkered flag here tonight at the Big E, followed by the Desert Demon Terry Landis, and rounding out the podium, the Brewerton Beast Jeff Barker. G.J. Boydell 4th, and Bob DeGood rounding out the top 5. Man, Kelly Wheeler, boy, he had that one on lock. Those guys were basically battling for P2 at that point in time. Kelly Wheeler driving around here. I have a hint, and Kelly, no offense here. I don't win too much myself. I think he forgot. Yeah, there we go. Victory lane. You can get to victory lane if you drive in pit road. And boy, oh boy, he's going to get to park this thing with the pyrotechnics going off. The 110 of Kelly Wheeler here takes the checkers at the Big E, and man, he's going to have a big smile on his face here tonight. And he should be proud of himself in that 110. We're going to give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath here, and then we're going to bring them up for their interviews here this evening. We'll let Jeff Barker migrate his way on up, but the 513 able to bring home P3, and you know, it's up to P2 there for a while, and I'm gonna have to ask him, you know, maybe he could go back in time here if he'd shut that basement door. But all in all, great run for that 513, and Jeff Barker has made his way on up to the booth here. So, hey Jeff, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Hi, Shaggy.
Well, hey man, you know, you kind of hung out there in the beginning, and then it seemed like at the end, dude, you turned it on. I mean, you found that groove on the bottom through 3 and 4, and you were basically able to get a 2 for 1 there. How'd you find that?
Well, I just basically went where they weren't, and it stuck. And then I gave the lane to Terry because I'm an idiot.
Well, I wasn't going to say that to you, Jeff, but I was going to ask you why you left it open there after you made it work so well. You know, obviously, if you had the time machine, you'd go back, but you know, it's got to be fun battling with your friend there in that 161.
Yeah, I know better. I gave him the bottom, and anybody knows better than that, really. It was just, but it's all good. We had a good time. It's a good race. Kelly was fast. Terry was fast.
Yeah, well, so was that 513, man. You had a lot of speed, and, you know, the caution came at the right time, but you and Terry battling, you know, you kind of took your guys both your guys' self out of that win picture here. But great job, man. Good run tonight in that 513. Who you want to thank?
Oh, I gotta thank Mauer Farm Management for putting this on. Got to thank Shaggy for broadcasting and all the usual suspects.
Well, hey, Jeff, great run tonight, man. Congratulations. Looking forward to a lot more of these, man. And I got a feeling here. We're going to Lincoln Thursday, right? Are we going to Lincoln this?
I think
Thursday?
so.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to be talking to you after Lincoln. I'm calling it right now. You're good there, man. I'm looking forward to talking to you Thursday night.
All right, it'll be big blocks. That's my jam. So
all right, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, see ya.
That's your third place finisher, and now we're going to bring up the man who, Terry. We watched Jeff give up the basement to you, we watched Jeff use it on you there to get by you. Were you surprised there on that last restart that he left the bottom open for you?
Yeah, I was. I was like, I didn't think he would slide up a little bit, so I went down there, and no wonder he's doing good down there.
Yeah, and I mean, he said it himself, dude, and I know better too. When I see you on my relative, I'm not going to leave that bottom open for you because it's something about it, Terry. What is it? I mean, how do you work your way around the bottom so well? You're consistently one of the best cars on the bottom. I mean, you, Blake, and Anthony, you really are in your own class.
I don't know. I just feel comfortable down there, and I just try and look where your left front's at, because with the VR, I lean to the left, almost out of my seat, so I can kind of see my left front. So it makes it a little easier.
Well, it may not be that safe. I'm glad your driver's head here stays in the car for us because, man, some of those crashes here, you might get it taken off. But at the end of the day here, man, great run for you. You come in the points leader. You're able to beat Greg, your closest competitor. So going to leave here with that points lead, man. And can you carry the momentum here into Daytona, or is that just kind of a crapshoot coming up?
Yeah, you never know at Daytona. All depends where the last lap. But yeah, this was a fun race tonight. It was a really good top guys run there. Kelly, he was like super fast. We couldn't even catch him. He was in a different world.
Yeah, and really, it should have went caution-free, but I talked about it 15 seconds before the caution happened, so it's 100% my fault. So great run here, Terry, man. I always look forward to talking to you. You're one of my favorites. Congratulations, man. Who you want to thank? And I love that sponsor on the front hood, by the way.
Yeah, and when you go inside the car, have it inside on the door panels, too.
Oh, it's crap. I got to go in there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'd like to thank Galen's Homegrown Popcorn. It's like the best on the internet. Put card in, you get 15% off in their car for a code. And Mauer Farm Management for putting it on for us, and you, Shaggy, for putting it on broadcast, and Kreitz Old Track Parts, because you need them, and you shake it before you drink it, and C2C and my wife Judy.
Well, hey, hell of a job, Terry. Look forward to talking to you here after Daytona, man. Give him hell.
All right, Shaggy, thanks.
And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here in the 110, Kelly Wheeler. Well, Kelly, first things first, my apologies for making that thing close. I brought up the fact that we didn't have a caution about 10 or 15 seconds before that thing came out. So you should have won by a big margin, man. Sorry to make you sweat there.
That's all right, man. It was all fun.
Well, really, Kelly, it started there in warm-ups. You were quick in warm-ups. Then we go to the heat race. You drove away in the heat, and then we go to the pre-race warm-ups, and, man, you're fastest again. Is it something about Eldora that you just love that, you really did, dude? You stole the show tonight, and there's some good guys in here.
Nah, I really don't like Eldora too good, to be honest with you. I just got lucky tonight.
Well, hey, man, you know what they say. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And, it just seemed like you found that high side when you needed it in the heat race. Was there any thought of you to try the bottom at all through 3 and 4, or did you just kind of, you were comfortable where you were at?
I didn't really think nothing about it until I seen the other two down there making gains on me a little bit. And I just figured I'd just stay to the top until they got a little bit closer, maybe, than I went down there. But I was committed to the top.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they're about the halfway point. I mean, the 41, he had kind of ran you down. And as soon as I said that, dude, it's like you just, you got set, you focused in, and man, you were on rails running the fastest laps of the race again. So, Kelly, when the pressure turned on, man, you turned the wick up and you earned this one. So, hell of a job in that 110 tonight, man. Great run. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. I haven't been doing it much here lately, but I've just had other things more important going on. But I want to thank her for letting me do it when I do decide to do it. I got to thank DNS Side and the Remodeling, Ingersoll Rand, and I got to thank Anthony Morano and all the FTM guys for letting me run with them and hang out with them in Discord and stuff. That helps me get a little bit better too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, hanging out with some of the best talent we have, it definitely rubs off on you. And Kelly, we understand things happen, and man, we're glad you can come out here when you can. We love having you. You're a great, clean racer, and you showed that tonight. Great job, great win, man, and I look forward to a lot more of these.
Well, I appreciate all the kind words, and I do appreciate you doing your broadcasting, and I've got to give thanks to C2C for giving us a good place to race.
Yeah, for sure, man. Without them, none of this is possible. But great run here, Kelly. And, man, I look forward to talking to you here in Victory Lane once again this year.
I hope to be talking to you again soon.
My man, Kelly Wheeler in the 110, dude. Absolutely stole the show. This guy is one of the, anytime you see him come into a dirt race, really, that's a Thursday night one as well with, the no age limit. Kelly Wheeler always finds a way to be up in that top 5. And, running with guys like Anthony Morano, Dean Reynolds, Logan Wentz, all those FTM guys, they rub off on you. And it just shows that 110, he's found a lot of speed and carried it through the Big E tonight and got his first feature win of the season here in the dirt retreads. And we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with tonight's main event here, the Dolaras at Daytona Super Speedway. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's time for another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, bringing you part 2 here of Old Timers Tuesday, brought to you by Mauer Farm Management. Currently have 12 guys in here once again. Let's see, who's in here that wasn't in the last one? How good am I? Mike Cramner. Mike Cramner was not in the dirt race. I knew, because Kelly Wheeler, he won. He isn't in here. I knew we swapped someone out. So Mike Cramner joining us in that 70 machine here at Daytona. And, you know, he's one of those guys that, I mean, seriously, I guess, you know, kind of on repeat, you hear me say certain things. But, man, Mike Cramner, you know, he's the asphalt specialist. Does okay in dirt, too, whenever he's in there. But you put this guy on the asphalt for real in the retreads division, and every time that 70 is out here on the track, you got to consider him in at least in a shot here. And the 70 of Mike Cramner are going to try to pick up what I believe here would be his second win of the season. I do believe he did already win one. Yes, okay, I'm correct in that. We actually have, through 5 races, we have 5 different winners here in the asphalt retreads. We have Ed Harris, he won a race. Mike Cramner, John Rayner, Terry Landis, and Greg Boydell. Well, the top 4 in points are Greg Boydell, your leader at 472, Terry Landis with 441, John Rayner and Mike Cramner rounding out then the bottom 4. So you see something in common there. The top 4 all with a win. Ed Harris, he had run pretty well in the 2 races that he attended. And then we haven't seen Ed for a little bit. So hopefully all's good with Ed. Roger Shank as well. Roger's another one who, whenever Roger gets out here, he's normally does pretty well. So look forward to seeing those guys make it back out here with us sometime again soon. So I believe that was Gary Siegelcow on the move, going up and around the outside. And Bob Curtis currently top of the charts here in that 012 machine. And it looks like now we are going to roll into qualifying here on the asphalt side of things, and Well, if you're out there in the chat box, let us know who you're rooting for, who you got here for tonight. If the volume sounds a little wonky with this asphalt car, please let me know. I can turn it up for you guys. This car is kind of quiet compared to a lot of the other cars here on the Iracing server. So if you feel like I need to turn them up, please feel free to let me know. As we're live on YouTube here this evening on Shaggy TV. We're also, on Coast to Coast Racing Network here, Shaggy TV, and now we're also live on Facebook on Shaggy TV. So make sure head on over there, hit the like button on that. Let's get that page rolling. Hit that subscribe button. I'd like to get that follower count up a little bit on the Facebook side here for Shaggy. As Steve Bixler, he was winning this race, but I always give the first person to get to the start-finish line here, lap number 1, and that's going to be Steve Maurer. So let's watch Steve Maurer here get around the track. He's going to barrel through turns 1 and 2 here. Man, you can just hear that thing. He's got it up the full song. Steve Maurer, I don't believe he has a pole yet this season. That would be nice for him. Well, he was purple there through Sector 1. Tim took it away, and then Pat took it away. Now somebody else took it away for Pat, and I bet you it's going to be that 70 of Mike Cramner. Possibly the 25 of Gary Siegelkow. But, man, those guys, they know how to get around. Very quick in qualifying. And right now to the top of the chart, Steve Maurer with a 39.58. Pat Boyce takes that for now with a 39.07. Pat Boyce, man, what a lap here. And then the 302 says, Shaggy, I'll take that. And look at Greg Boydell, currently purple through Sector 1, purple through Sector 2. We know what that means. Quick time for the 014 of Greg Boydell. Pat Boyce, though, purple through Sector 1. We'll have to see, can he answer the bell here as he comes out of turn 4. Gonna roll up here to the start-finish line. He needs to get as close to that yellow line as he can, shave off as much time. And Pat Boyce, purple through Sector 2, but somebody took that purple Sector 1. We'll have to see who that is, but Pat Boyce right now currently at the top of the charts, and looky who, that 014, purple through Sector 1, purple through Sector 2, and Greg Boydell sits on top of the charts here. Quick time in the 014. Everyone has qualified here. Shaker Gerdeman did not go out and put a lap down as he stayed in pit road. Qualifying not really important here. Not a huge field, not a make or break for you. Me personally, I was always a no qualifier here at the restrictor plate tracks, and I am that way in official races as well. I like to just hang out in the back, let the mayhem happen, as they like to say, and then just try to shimmy my way on up to the front towards the end when it matters. But everybody's got their own play, and all in the same token here, this isn't going to be a fuel mileage race, so if you can get out front and stay up there, obviously that's the safest place to be. But, in some of the other style racing we do where you would have to pit in this 25 laps, it's tough to go out there and lead the whole way. You got to try and save gas when you can. But let's go ahead and we'll see if we can bring up tonight's feature starting lineup here. 25 laps around Daytona Super Speedway, and the 014 is going to lead us to the green flag here. He's going to be starting on the pole. Into his outside in the 41, the librarian, Pat Boyce. Bob Curtis in the 012 to the inside of row 2. And his outside in the 302, John Rayner. The Desert Demon, Terry Landis, in the 161 to the inside of row 3. And to his outside in the 70, Mike Cramner. Armando Melgoza to the inside of row number 4 in the 531, and to his outside in the 25, Gary Siegelkow. The Mayor, Steve Bixler, in the 75 to the inside of row number 5, and to his outside in the 888, Steve Maurer. Tim Chapman to the inside of row number 6, and rounding out the field in that 63 machine, Shaker Gerdeman. Still waiting on the 014 of Greg Boydell here to come into play, and he is the pole sitter, so he doesn't want to miss this start. That would not be good here for the 014. As Greg Boydell does finally get in the session here, we should be ready to roll off here, and we are going to roll off, and we're set for 25 laps here at Daytona. We got a long pace lap coming in, gives the drivers a little bit of time to think here, process what they may do, may not do here. Is hopefully we'll see some guys press that patience button here and realize we got a long way to go, and patience is going to be the key here at Daytona. As Terry Landis tries to ruin our camera right away. That dog. What's the scenic place down there? Wanted to lay a little rubber on it here before we get going. And you're going to hear these things whistling around here in just a couple minutes. Is going to be going around here almost 200 plus mile an hour here at Daytona when they get in the draft. These guys are really going to be pushing, what the cars are capable of here. It's going to be a grueling race for these guys, especially, if they get involved in little tussles here, and then you got to make sure you keep that thing clean. You don't want to keep having to drive your way towards the front. It's just a fast way to try and frustrate yourself, and got to do every little bit you can here to help yourself out. As the drivers get ready to come off of turn 4, the Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off this time by, and we're going to get ready to take that green flag here at Daytona. It says Daytona Super. Oh my gosh, it cut off Speedway. Let me fix that. That is ridiculous. As the green flag is high, it's of Greg Boydell easily gets out in front here, and at Daytona, that's not something you necessarily want. Is these guys will get a big draft pull on him coming down the backstretch as we watch him fan out here. Guys, playing nice here early for the most part. As we go on back through the field, the 63 of Shaker Gerdeman, he started dead last. He wasted no time, up 3 spots here up to 9th. You're seeing Greg kind of hold his own. These guys back here side drafting on each other. That will slow them down a little bit. They're not really able to run down Greg at this point in time. So what they're going to need to do is line up and literally pass each other. Just keep using that line till they suck up on them. You're not going to get that huge draft wake, that you get in a cup car. They're starting to bounce around. Terry Landis looks to the bottom here. He doesn't like how sketchy that's looking. And Steve Bixler involved. Steve Maurer, Armando Melgoza, 3 cars involved. And not sure if Tim Chapman got any damage in that here or not. Doesn't look like it, but Steve Bixler, the mayor, he's on his lid. As we go back, let's try and figure out what happened here. Doesn't want to give us a good indicator. So Steve Maurer, I think he, just possibly, is this by himself? Didn't look like he got help. Just got up in that outside wall, came down, and Armando Melgoza, he gets absolutely destroyed in that, and there was no driving that thing back to the pits. He had to tow it. Steve Bixler ends up on the lid here. The mayor, he's going to have to get a tow. And 2 cars early having to find their way on pit road. And, well, my apologies. You're going to see that replay thing stuck here again. We are going to have to reset SDK one more time. And we will get this back up and running here before we get running back live. That thing back to the pit. Well, I accidentally put the wrong thing in there, so we got to hear myself talk. That's pretty cool. Though I didn't realize I could accidentally put the YouTube overlay and stream myself streaming. That's that was a pretty neat error there. Here's, we'll close this down. And we should be all set and back on live. We are. And Greg Boydell here. That's not what he wanted. I'm a little surprised. You know, he didn't get over that second gap. It stayed around the 6/10. But those guys, you know, with the way they were running behind him, not really working together, trying to run it down. And Greg Boydell, you know, it's obviously a fantasy world a long way anyways, even if it stays green flag. But I would have really benefited him for that thing to stay green here. Is under caution for the first time here. It's going to say 0 because I reset. But we know. Caution here for the first time at Daytona. 2 laps in. And long, long way to go here. You know what? Let's see something here. Let's see. Who do we want? There's somebody we have not brought up mid-race here this season. Have we brought up... No, you know what? I can't do that to Steve. He was just involved in that accident. That would be so rude. I hate getting people up here who are trying to just get their head back in line. And if the lights go off, we'll wait till next time. But got to pull a driver up here under caution. 'Cause, yeah, the lights did go off, so probably better that I just let them line up and make sure everything's settled here anyways, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here. Those drivers will start to double up here, and we'll go back next time by. As your current hard charger is that 63 of Shaker Girdham in that black and white. Delar on the inside. He's up 5 spots, started 12th. And then behind him, Tim Chapman there, or to his outside in that green and black car, up 3 spots. So Tim and Shaker currently on the move here through the field early on. Roll down the long backstretch here at Daytona, and man, oh man, under pace speeds. It looks like they're crawling here, but I promise you, they're doing 65. You know, your average highway speed, so they do have them rolling, but man, when they got all that horsepower, they want to run, and until that Steve King Foundation pace car gets out of the way, we got to hold those horses back a little bit, tame them. Was not too sure what's going on back there. We have a car through the grass. Steve Maurer, not too sure what happened there, but everything looks okay so far on the 888 as The Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off this time by, and we're going to get set to go back racing here as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly, and we're back underway at Daytona Superspeedway. 22 more laps to go. Drivers side by side here in the middle of the field. You want to smarten up. You don't want to race too hard. You don't want to let those front two get out away from you guys. As right now Mike Cramner and Pat Boyce side by side going down the backstretch. They start to fan out almost 3 wide as they enter turn 3. But man, oh man, they thought best of it here. And you're seeing Shaker Gerdeman flirting with death there. Gets a little sketchy as he looks to the outside of the 161. No harm yet as they roll around. 22 to go. I thought I heard a car in the wall was trying to click backwards. Doesn't look like a car in the wall for now. Everybody's still rolling. Let's hop on board with the 37 of Tim Chapman. Tim with a big run on the high side, trying to suck up on that 25 of Gary Sigelkow, just using him as a pick there. Out in the air, just using him to plow his way on up. And Tim, you hear, I mean, that thing tightened up. Got to lift out of the throttle a little bit. I mean, I meant it. These things, you know, you're pushing them to the limit. They are going fast. Greg Boydell now starting to feel some pressure from behind him as he's got a line looking to the high side. That's Mike Cramner in the 70, and he's got Shaker Gerdeman behind him. John Rayner in that 302 floating up a little bit, pulling some side draft, and Greg Boydell thinking about going up there and throwing a block. Now, you know, I'm not one to tell anyone what to do, but not even a quarter of the way through this thing, I don't know if I'd be worried about changing lines if I'm the leader. Just hold your own. Make sure you're in a spot here at the end. You don't want to get guys dicing behind you. And, you know, if you're Greg and you swoop up and all of a sudden you open that door for the 302, you can't get mad if he takes that opening. You got to plant your car, and you got to just hold your line here early on as Pat Boyce into the inside, and we're losing 4 cars here. Shaker Gerdeman with an absolute violent wreck in the 63. That thing's going to need a tow. And I mean, we saw it. Pat Boyce just hits the inside apron, and I mean, you know, it happens that fast when you're in a pack here. One mistake is magnified, and, you know, does this all by himself. Goes down there, gets the apron, comes up, and nowhere for Mike, Shaker, or Tim to go. Man, Shaker, Gerdeman, my oh my. Let's go on board with Shaker here. This could get crazy. Actually, we're going to restart that here. Full speed. Man, oh my gosh. Hopefully Shaker is not in VR. Holy Hannah, that was a wild, wild ride there for Shaker Gerdeman. Man, oh man. Just gets into that catch fence, starts spiking. Violent ride for the 63. Just the 37 of Tim Chapman able to make it to pit road. And Greg Boydell trying to bring us up to the pace car here. Not too sure if maybe some of the drivers pitted. No, none of them pit. Not too sure as to why we just now caught the pace car, but we did finally catch the pace car. Second caution of the night here is 2 through 5 laps. You got to think they're going to start to simmer down here, and you know it's a case of where, you know, simmering down almost means running single file here till the end. it stinks, but, you know, it's really tough to get a draft pool. That's why you got to make yourself, you know, got to keep yourself in that good position. Especially if you didn't qualify, you got to survive these wrecks. You don't want to have to pit. You don't want to give up where you're at. And, I mean, it just, you know, because we see one mistake. I mean, they aren't even racing that hard. Just 2x2 there. And if the guy on the bottom makes a mistake, if you're in the top line, you saw that with Tim Chapman. He was 3 cars back. I mean, you're just at bay. You can't react in time. You got to, you know, that's why I was, you know, talking about Greg the way I was, where you just, dude, stay committed to the bottom. Don't worry about floating up. Anytime you float up, too, you're just breaking the air for that guy up top and helping him out. Stay committed to your line. This isn't NASCAR. You know, you don't have to go up there and block the draft. If you go up there and cut someone off, I mean, you're going to wreck. You can't do it in these cars. You can't. You know, you got to just race for the opportunity that you're in and take advantage of the as best you can, the situation that you're currently in. In this car, it's really tough to kind of create your own luck where you could in the Truck Series or the Xfinity or the, you know, the Nextel or whatever they're called now, the big boys, the NASCAR guys. And it's a totally different beast here where you got to respect the racing lines. You know, you got to. It's one thing coming to the line, you know, trying to cut someone's momentum off, blocking them, but man, it's tough here early on to see that. You know, you kind of want to just maintain your spot, you know, force that guy behind you to go up and make him give up the bottom and let him get cycled out. Just try to, you know, mistake free. And so far, when Greg Boydell stayed on the bottom, he's absolutely done that. I mean, you can't really see anyone getting a good enough run on the outside when you can't, you know, really get that bump draft. It's not like a guy can help you with the extra distance around the track. You know, you want to keep it to the shortest way around, and you want to keep that throttle pinned. And Greg Boydell here, he's been doing that for the most part. So we see Shaker Gerdeman able to get tightened back up here in time after being involved in that accident. Pat Boyce and Mike Cramner still on pit road, so not too sure if we're going to get to see those guys make it back out here or not. But as we get ready to go green, we should have 19 laps to go here at Daytona. As the Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off this time, and the 014 of Greg Boydell will look to lead us back to the green flag. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 19 laps to go at Daytona Super Speedway. Greg Boydell and John Renner with great jumps. Terry Landis and Gary Siegelkow, they've got to work together here now. You know, you got to line up here. As Tim Chapman back here in 7th. The last car that basically I think really kind of stands a chance here, unless Steve Bixler and those guys, there they go. They are lining up. They can't fight back here in the back. You got to be smart. And Shaker Gerdeman right now looking to that outside. He's got to get down, able to do so. This is where if you're Tim, you know, you want to suck up here and you want to swoop around and just keep doing that draft pool, then have Armando do the same thing. You got to just do that until you work your way on up. I mean, if not, these two are going to walk away, and you know that's not what Greg wants to do either, because you want to be holding the lead at all times, but that would be the strategic way to hold on. You guys just keep drafting and slingshotting by each other. That's the trick here right now. It's Terry Landis and Gary Siegelkow side by side for 3rd place. Oh, man, we're 3 wide. I don't know how we survived that. Bob Curtis held on. Tim kept it out of the wall upstairs, and Armando, he froze like a rock there in the middle. Great job by those 3:17 to go. So we roll through 1 and 2. The leaders, they're out front by about 1.2 seconds. Just excellent job of lining up. And meanwhile, you know, these guys back here running side by side, that's not what you want to do. You got to work together here. As those two out front, they are making it a 2-car race. They are pulling away. These guys back here for third like it's the last lap here. No, you know what's given. I mean, these guys are going hard here, not even at the halfway point. But they're 1.5 seconds off that lead group. They're going to need a caution. Tim Chapman there to the inside almost gives them one. Gets into the apron, but able to hold on. They're 3 wide for third there. Armando Melgoza moves up on the inside, and Gary Sigelkow, he slots in line, but for about half a second, just to get that draft pool to look back up and we'll start battling once again here. Man, these guys, they do not care about catching these leaders. They are in their own little battle right now. And John Rayner, you got to think he needs this thing to stay green. He's got Greg right where he wants him. I mean, little 2-car battle. He's that second car in line. I mean, you use that draft here on the white flag lap to slingshot around. John Rayner, I mean, he's just got himself set up here right now in that 302. He's got to see how the rest of this plays out. Terry Landis to the outside of Armando Melgoza, and Armando fighting back in that Fanatec machine on the inside. He's going to lift. He's going to slot back in line. Tim kisses that outside wall, but right now able to carry on. You got to wonder, though, did he do any damage to that 37? Terry Landis scooping down here, trying to look under that 25. He's going to get back to the bottom, and the 25 side by side with the 161 here. Gary Sigelkow, can he make room on the bottom? He almost forces his way down. Whoa, gets into the side a little bit of the 161. No arm, no foul. They keep rolling, 13 to go. Lots of time here, but man, you know, not if they keep racing like this here. Those front two, they're gone. They're 2.5 seconds over this second pack. As we're going to go up there. Let's watch them here as they get ready to, big wreck down the backstretch. Big wreck. Gary Sigelkow, Armando Melgoza, and well, you know, we saw this coming. It's hard to tell from here. Let's see here. All right, let's go to this Chapman Racing drone camera. Let's get the aerial here. And we're going to slow her down. Now, Terry's doing a pretty good job staying about, I don't know, a tire length off that yellow line. Oh, couldn't tell. Did maybe the 37 get into him? Let's see here. It may have been a little netcode from the 37. Let's watch this. So you see the 37 float up a little bit. Yeah, they don't touch, but they do touch. And that's what makes the 25 go around. Just a little bit of netcode. You know, you run these older cars, and there you see a lot of netcode. Wow, Armando never, made contact with him there, but gets jolted around. And, well, that's internet sim racing sometimes, with the internet connections. That can happen. And tough break here. Is 2 guys involved in another wreck here. We're only halfway here. 3rd caution. Pretty good pace so far, and we'll have 12 laps to go, but we'll have to see how well the drivers behave themselves here in the closing laps, as Greg Boydell has been able to lead the whole thing comfortably out front so far. Let's see here. Let's bring up this 302. Bring up John Rayner here. Hey, John. Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You got to be hanging your head in your palm right now, you know. You had that race right where you wanted it, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was just staying tucked in behind Greg there because it wasn't going to do me any good trying to get by Greg or him trying to get by me. It's better if we just stay tucked in behind each other and gain a little bit of speed on the guys behind us trying to catch up. So, yeah, I was in a good position there, just putting on the laps.
Yeah, man, wise words there, you know, basically saying what I was saying. You know, the guys behind you running pretty hard and, you know, you just doing the smart thing, just able to go right in behind Greg. Now, we haven't really seen a lot of it, but, you know, if you're in second place here on this last lap, John, how big of effect is the draft when you're close? You know, can you line up behind and really use it for a slingshot in these things?
It does help a little bit. Yeah, it does, Shaggy. Yeah, that would be my my goal if I'm lucky enough to be near the first 2 or 3 or 4 cars going in the last lap of that. Hopefully I can get tucked in behind somebody and do a little bit of a slingshot.
Well, hey, John, you're coming out of turn 4 here. I think you guys are going to get the one to go this time by, man. So good luck, brother. We're rooting for you up here.
Appreciate it, Shaggy. Thank you very much.
And that's the 302 of John Rayner. John, I said, you know, I mean, he had the trophy in the palm of his hand there. He really liked where he was. 2.5 second gap over the rest of the field with him and Greg Boydell. And, you know, Greg, it's a case of where you're happy to be out front, but, you know, coming in those closing laps, you're the lead car there, only one guy behind you. You almost feel helpless. So this is maybe not what Greg wanted, but possibly what Greg Boydell needed in that 014 is the rest of the field will tighten up, and now, you know, we'll have some action going on behind him. The Desert Demon of Terry Landis and Tim Chapman in that 37 in row number 2. They've got to make sure, they've got to nail this start. They don't want to get caught sleeping. They can't afford a big gap once again here. So very important for those two to nail the restart here as we get ready to go back green here with the pace lights off. There's Greg Boydell. I mean, he's just been out front this whole time. I mean, how more comfortable really can you be? It's impressive what he's done. But here in, you know, the witching hour here, coming towards the end, this is when it gets interesting. So, not over yet. A lot of stuff can happen here with 12 laps to go at Daytona. That's a lifetime. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time here, and the Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off into pit road, and we're going to watch that green flag here real high in the sky for the 014 of Greg Boydell. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. He enters that Geico restart zone, and we're underway. Great restart for the 814. Terry Landis and Tim Chapman, they got to get rolling here. Terry maybe caught sleeping a little bit, and Tim falling in line with him. But now, man, those two up front lined up nose to tail. They are ready to go here. Can Terry Landis close as we go down the backstretch? Tim looking to the outside here, and that's where, you know, maybe you don't want to do that. Stay lined up. We'll have to see here. Is now Shaker to the inside. Don't put up a big fight here, old man. There he goes. Lines back up, and now we see we're closing back up. We got a 6-car battle up front with 11 laps to go here at Daytona. John Rayner possibly with a block thrown there, and oh man, Shaker, play this smart here. He almost loses it. Hold on. And there he does go around, and no caution. No caution here at Daytona. Well, now we're going to get a caution. Man, that's a tough one. You know, and we're going to have to go back and try to look at this one. But man, you know, at this point, when you see this happen, I think you got to kind of... Let's see here. Let's just see. Let's see what happens here. Let's let Shaggy get a look at it before we get too critical. All right. So we see Terry Landis here coming with a big run. This is where it starts. So John gets down on that apron a little bit. Okay, he gets sideways. That's not a block. Terry goes up, kisses that outside wall. Now here's where Shaker, this is where I agree, and Tim almost does it as well, but you see him lift there. This is where if you're Shaker, you got to back out of this. I mean, you can't enter this in on the apron. Nothing good is going to happen when you enter in on a flat, that flat, and go up in this thing. I mean, realistically, it probably would have tore that car to pieces doing that, you know, dipping the wing down in there. And then we just see he tries to catch it. Bob Curtis then gets sucked into it in the 0-1-2, and that's going to be a wild ride for him. And so far, you know, no caution. And we let this thing drift up, and then we yank it back down as a car is coming. And that one, that's where you got to feel for the 25 of Gary Siegelkow. That's tough. So now he's got to be able to drive that thing back around, but a lot of tore up race cars. But yeah, you know, that's one of those things where, you know, by all means, white flag, 2 to go. Guy gets loose in front of you, duck it down. I would too, but 10 to go, plenty of time, and you find yourself in the top 5. You've been wanting to get up there all night. And, you know, it's nothing's going to be good when, and, you know, just for, see, it doesn't do it justice. You know, this does. Like riding around with the leader here, Greg Boydell. I mean, look at the banking. I mean, you know, you can't go from that flat. And, you know, he's doing 160 there easy. And, you know, you just can't expect to get that to stick. And that's a tough break. Here's Gary Siegelkow. He was able to go back and, you know, drive that thing around. Didn't lose a lap or anything. Didn't have to tow. Terry Landis, we saw him pit after getting into the outside wall. Probably wanted to make sure, you know, it's better safe than sorry here in case that thing had any damage, and go in and repair that thing. You're going to get to enjoy the sights and sounds here for just a minute, because Shaggy just realized now nothing is in it anymore. But I decided to leave the oven on since dinner time. So I just now noticed the light was on the oven. Shaggy is going to run over there real quick. Give me 25 seconds. And we are going to turn off this oven. Because the heat's in Daytona, but Shaggy is actually maybe feeling the heat a little bit in here because he left the oven on. Shaggy did not leave the oven on. Shaggy left the light for the oven on. That was the light that was on the top of the stove. So don't worry. I did remember to turn it off. I just forgot to turn the light off for the inside of the oven. So we're all safe here in Gettysburg for now, at least. As we roll down the backstretch here, the lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace car, and we will get ready to roll back green this time by. Still plenty of time to go here, and you know, caution laps don't count, so this could be a little bit here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. This last I guarantee you the last lap will be exciting. Now, you know, we may have some pauses here in between then, but they're going to let it all hang out here on this last lap. As the cars roll out of turn 4, you see the lights are off. We're going to go back green this time by. As soon as Greg Boydell enters that Geico restart zone, he is allowed to fire. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 10 to go at Daytona. Tighten up those belts. As you see the front 3 really able to spread themselves out here. Armando caught sleeping on that restart. He's got a full field behind him, and, you know, they're going to see that front 3 out there. This is where, you know, this front 3, they got to be smart. They do not want to caution here. They got to stay lined up. Now, these guys, they're going to get as aggressive as they can. They're going to almost try to force a caution or race their way back up there here as we're running out of time. As they come to the stripe this time, 9 laps to go as you see these guys back here in the second pack, 2 by 2. That's allowing Steve Maurer in that 888 and Shaker Gerdeman to try to line up and try to pull back into these guys as the front 3 staying in line for now, playing the smart long game here. As those guys, I thought they were going to try and line up, but they thought about it and they said, Shaggy, we'd rather race here. There's only 9 to go. Oh, no. Hold on. Please hold on, Steve Bixler. And caution is out again. We kind of saw that coming here. He got a little squirrely there through 3 and 4. And caution is out here. Just, let's see here. Can we go up top? Not in time. We can't go up top. And now that isn't on Steve at all. That is not on Steve. Who was that? Is that Steve Maurer? So Steve Maurer comes down into... So Bixler able, man, he saved that. He did a fantastic job. I truthfully thought that was on Bixler. I mean, Maurer there, he kind of, does touch him a little bit, but, I mean, he comes down, not sure if he's just trying to, follow, Terry in front or, like, pull down and get side draft, but just doesn't give Bixler any room, and they get together, and hard into the wall goes both of them. And Shaker Gerdeman, man, he barely sneaks through in that 63. That was a close call for him. Greg Boydell, man, he's just, just been able to lucky enough, he started out front, so I guess luck did not really, good qualifying effort, put himself out front, and he's gone with that strategy of, I'm going to qualify, I'm going to go out front, I'm going to stay out front. And it's worked. All the nonsense has been going on behind Greg Boydell in that 014, and he's just had smooth sailing out front. If you heard the door shut, my apologies there. That's why I was quiet. My wife had something she needed to run by me real quick, so A lot going on in the Chapman household here. We're thinking about getting ready to move. So it's exciting stuff. Or, I mean, got somebody moving in. Exciting stuff going around. So just a lot going on in the house here. Hopefully we'll be settled down, everything by Thanksgiving. But just happy that, well, you know, we got a place, got a roof over our head. And all family's good at the moment. That's what it's all about here as the holidays get ready to roll in. And, you know, speaking about family being good, you know, it's basically is second family here for most of us here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. You know, I spend as much time here talking to you guys and racing with a lot of the guys in here as I do probably spending time with my wife outside of her work. So, you know, it's really is a commitment here in this league. We all enjoy it. We love it. And sometimes we lose sleep over it. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, it's all a big family. And, you know, guys like Maurer Farm Management stepping up to grab sponsorship here. You know, AMR picks up a sponsorship. Let's try to think of all of them here. Flatline Racing Bodies, of course. I mean, wow, Flatline Racing Bodies, they've been committed to this league for a long time. I really appreciate Dan and all those guys, all that they do for the league. Couldn't have these awesome broadcasts. If it wasn't for the great members we have here and their family members willing to put up the money and time just to, you know, get these broadcasts out for all of the viewers. And I know how much we truly do all enjoy going back and watching ourselves race, whether we admit it or not. I'm one of those guys who will admit it. I was lucky enough. I told Marty. I normally sit in the booth with him all night Monday, but man, oh man, watching these guys drive sprint cars, I've been getting that itch, and I've got to run them on Monday nights, so I'm going to start doing that again. And when I finished P2 last night, of course, Shaggy had to go check out the broadcast. We all do it. We love to go back and rewatch it. It's our fix, that's for sure. As Greg Boydell, we're going to roll through 3 and 4 here. 5th caution of the night here through, let's see, I think we've run 17 laps. So averaging a caution about every 3 laps here. So hopefully we settle down. Hopefully we can go the rest of the way green flag. The lights are off and the Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off this time by, and Greg Boydell is set to bring us back to the green flag single file start here. So if a guy misses a shift or has a bad restart, it's really going to be noticeable. And so far, so good. A little gap between Tim Chapman and John Rayner, but I don't think that's too much to overcome here, right at that 0.6 of a second mark. But I don't know, man. They're going to have to line up. They got to get on it. As John Rayner sucks up on the back, he knows what to do, trying to pull away from those guys. And right now, it's a success so far. Melgoza, Chapman, and Landis not able to make up any ground on those front two as Tim just caught sleeping a little bit on that restart. They've got to line up. They've got to quit racing here. 7 laps to go in the 014. He's led every lap so far. John Rayner would love to sneak by and lead that most important one. The last lap here is he's been an excellent drafting partner, is lined up right behind Greg and has pushed those two away every time. It's been phenomenal what John and Greg have been able to accomplish here as a team. We're going to watch him sail off into turn 1 here. Get to see that gap, you know. I mean, that's substantial gaps here throughout the field. So you got to think, barring a major error here, we may go green flag the rest of the way. I don't want to jinx it here, but I mean, if this plays out the way, you know, I'm thinking in the way it probably should, we're looking at the only guys here that really stand a chance to win this thing. As John Rayner all over the back of the 014 of Greg Boydell, just biding his time, just being patient, just trying to lay in the weeds. These three back here, I mean, Landis, Melgoza, Chapman just haven't had the luck. Chapman gets a little loose coming off the corner. He goes low. He's got to try to get the speed back up and get back in line. Coming through 3 and 4, looking to get 4 to go this time by John Rayner. Not in the spot where he wants to finish, but you got to think in the spot that he wants to be in. Just playing like a leopard here. Just watching that zebra of Greg Boydell in the 014 just drink from the watering hole. And man, he's ready to jump out and strike here. As long as those guys behave back there, we don't need a late race caution. Tim Chapman really close to that outside wall. That was close. So we come out of 4 here. 3 to go. This time by 2-second gap over the rest of the field. And barring a big unforeseen thing here, it's going to be those 2 to the finish. Is Tim, he's been able to move up to 4th, but right now, you know, they're just not able to stay in line like Rayner and Greg. I mean, just look at the difference here. I mean, how close they are. They're trying to wreck in the back. They are wrecking in the back, and I think we may get a caution here. No caution yet. No caution, as we are going to continue, and well, rightfully so, I believe. You know, those guys in the back there, those 2 tough break, but I'd like to see the strategy play out. John's earned this. He's nailed every restart, has been able to fall right in line behind Greg, but done so well enough that the guy in 3rd hasn't been able to keep up with them. And I think, you know, we deserve a chance to see this strategy play out. As lap and a half left here as we enter turn 3. That flag man, he's got a hold of the white flag, but no, we're going to get a caution late. Not too sure what happened here as we see Tim Chapman involved. It's just going 3 wide. And it looks like possibly Tim maybe came down here. Let's try and get an aerial camera. It was tough to tell from that angle. But right now, you know, they're 3 wide. Keep relevance to that thin line in the center. So right now it was thick black. We're watching it right in between their cars. That's Terry coming up. You can stare at that line. That's what that is. Terry ever so slightly coming up and gets into the side of the 37. And well, those 3 go for a wild ride, and man, you know, probably spoiled us of the way that finish should have went here. Is, and John Rayner had Greg probably right where he wanted him, and now Shaker. Not that he doesn't deserve a chance at this, but you know, he's a quick car, so he's definitely going to play into this one. And man, that's tough. That's tough. I really wanted to see it play out the way it should have. That's a heartbreak for these front 2. Is, you know, here with a tightened up field, guys going to go in and get quick repairs. I would be shocked if Greg Boydell and John Rayner finish 1-2. And I don't even mean in that order, just those guys finishing 1st and 2nd, because it's going to get wild here on this last lap. And they've run a perfect race up front. None of those guys deserve what is probably about to happen to them. But could be wrong here. Been wrong plenty of times before. As the lights are still on, so we're going to go around at least one more time. As I've said it once, I'll say it again. Man, they crawl around here under caution. It's almost like time standing still here. As I believe this is the 6th caution of the night here, so. With laps not counting, let's see, average of 3 laps per caution, 18 laps at about a minute, man. Yeah, that's a lot of time here pacing around. These guys, hopefully, maybe, I bet you some of them, and that's one where Terry Landis has done it before too. He'd openly admit to it. If he finished up here in the top 3, I'm a guy who will openly admit to it. If I'm at Talladega, I've done it plenty of times in official races. Because if you run an A series, man, and those things are like 90 laps, you get a caution. I am parking on pit road and I am running to the bathroom. There are plenty of guys who will take advantage of that here at Daytona, Pocono, Talladega. You can get away with it if you sprint. If you're really quick, you can get away with it. I guarantee you, we've seen some guys, without knowing it, do that this evening. Is sitting in the car that long, sitting still here. That can wear on you. And all these guys, or the majority of them, they have jobs. They're working during the day, so got a lot going on. And when you're sitting there, your muscles can kind of calm down in the car under caution, and then you just retighten up as you go green, and just that constant, go and stop. That can really, wear on you. Depending on the day you had at work, it adds to the wear and tear here on the sim. That's for sure. It's not life or death. Not going to give anybody a heart attack. That's for sure. But just adds to it. Get you sweating a little bit. Get you wiping your forehead under caution, and it just can add to it and add to that little bit of slip. We'll have the first attempt here to green-white checkered. And like I say, I would be really shocked if those two finish 1-2. They deserve it. They have run mistake-free. They've been really smart out front and just played a good game. But we'll have to see if, what do they say? Nice guys finish last sometimes. And they've played nice out front. We'll have to see if they can hold the pace here in the closing laps here. Going to have 2 to go as the Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off in the 014 of Greg Boydell. Will bring us to the green flag here. Green flag this time, white next time, checkered in 2 times as we're back underway. 2 more trips at Daytona International Speedway. I believe that's Armando Melgoza. Yeah, had a tough restart there, and Shaker Gerdeman, he didn't get going either. Looks like the front 2, they're going to get their chance to play as long as we don't have a caution. Gary Siegelkow way down below that yellow line, and I'm not too sure you're supposed to do that and advance your position. And, well, we're under caution again here. Not too sure how many attempts we have at a green-white checkered, if we'll get another one, but we'll have to go back and look at it. But, I'm one of those guys, I do not bite my tongue. I always try to be polite the way that I say things here, but if what I saw at first glance here is correct, this doesn't look very good here. We're gonna try to get an aerial cam. Let's see. So big run there, and instead of lifting, you get in the back of the guy and you stay full throttle and drive down below the yellow line. And you've had plenty of time to come up, and you come up a little more. That's just, man, that's tough, I know you want to go for it here at the end. You're running out of laps, but these things are rocket ships. You got plenty of time, and, never are you supposed to go down below that yellow line and advance your spot. And I know it's tough to want to crack out of that throttle, but if we crack out of the throttle, we probably get to the white flag here. Well, we're going to have to do it all over again. And now, you know, Craig Boydell, oh my gosh, he's got to pit. Or else he's going to run out of gas. That is tough. I'm imagining that's what it is for. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, I don't see any damage on that thing. He's having to pit for gas. And, oh, man, you know, he shouldn't have had to in that 014. It's tough. And now all of a sudden, been out front all race, and now he finds himself in trouble. And with the 302 of John Rayner, he finds himself in the lead now. Tim Chapman inherits P2, and tough break there for the 014 of Greg Boydell. You lead the whole race, and you know I talked about there too, leading the race. There you waste more gas because you're hammered down the whole time. You're never lifting. And didn't think it would come to play here in a 25 lapper, but with all these caution flags and all these extra laps, like I say, we were seeing 6. We know we had 7, and being nice here is 3 laps per caution. I think it's 4. So, I mean, do the math. That's 21 to 28 extra laps. And that's something that, well, you just don't really account for here. We've almost done 2 races here, so Greg Boydell, he's got to be frustrated. Had that thing in the bag, was nailing these restarts, and now Greggy's got to climb his way back onto the podium here. He's going to come back from 4th. His lights are still on, so not going to go just yet here. Not sure. Is Greg Boydell coming down pit road again? He is. Not too sure why. Bob Curtis also coming down pit road. Maybe they didn't feel like they got enough gas in it, or want to put more in it in case we're not done having cautions. That's probably the smart move here. Just fill that thing up. Give it as much gas as you can and play the long game here. As the lights are off, so we will be going back green here this time. Now Greg Boydell, with him and Bob Curtis both pitting there, he beat Bob out of the pits, so he pulls back up into 3rd. He's definitely not where he wants to be, but Greg still has a chance here in the closing laps. As Tim Chapman's got himself planted in the middle here. He's way low. Not sure if he's driving that low to try to save gas or what the deal is here. Now, in the other leagues, they do 2 attempts at a green-white checkered, so I would imagine this is the last attempt. I don't know if it's unlimited. Like I say, the rest of the races are set up with 2 green-white checkered attempts, so I would imagine this is the same way here. But we're going to find out here as the Steve King Foundation pace car is off, and we're set to go back racing. John Rayner in the 302. Gets an excellent jump, and man, that Tim Chapman got caught sleeping in that 37. He is a 1.5 seconds behind. This race is all 302 here, barring a caution. John Rayner gonna come home clean with this. Battling for those final 2 spots of the podium, though, as we go down the backstretch, second and third side by side. Shaker Gerdeman and Greg Boydell. Tim Chapman in tow here, trying to see if he can get on that podium. As we roll through 3 and 4. Oh no, he tries to fit up in the middle, gets into Shaker, but the white flag already in the air. Gets into the 014 of Greg Boydell, and the 37 to the inside here. He's going to lose out on that podium. But man, oh man, you got to think, this guy, he set himself up here. He ran behind Greg Boydell most of the race. I know Greg's going to be a little bit frustrated here, not really having a true chance to defend. But John Rayner, mistake-free, hung out in second place all race, got lucky when he needed it, held on, and John Rayner is going to take the checkered flag here at Daytona, followed by Bob Curtis. Greg Boydell just got edged out at the line. Not sure if Greg ran out of gas in that 014. He is out of gas in the 014, so just enough gas in that thing to get around. And Bob Curtis steals P2 from him, but man, oh man, a lot of stuff happened on that last lap. A lot of chaos, and only 5 cars end up finishing this thing on the lead lap. Is Armando Melgoza. He is also out of gas, trying to coast around here. And I do not know if Armando is going to make it here. The little engine that could. The 531, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. We're not leaving this race. I don't care if this takes 40 seconds. Can he get to the line? He's going to blink in and out a couple times. Let's see. This is it. Can he get to the line? Can Armando get to the line? You got to will him on. Start. Oh, we blew him across the line. Armando. And oh. There we go. Sorry, a couple mic issues there, but thrilling finish there for Armando. Able to slowly bring it home. Guys running out of gas all over the track, but let's give Greg Boydell a minute to maybe catch his breath, calm down a little bit, and get a chance to talk to this 014. Don't see anybody here in the waiting room, so that's why I'm being so quiet here. I'll pull them up as soon as I can because, well, Shaggy here, I got another show I got to do, so we're running pretty close. Hey, Greg, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. Well,
I'm just going to ask here. Did you have to pit there, I'm assuming, for gas?
Yep.
Yeah, that's... I can hear it, Greg. I'm not going to pry it out of you. Hey, I've been in your shoes, man. I can sense the frustration. That's a tough deal, man. I mean, you're mistake-free. You're quick in qualifying. You kept nailing those restarts. And, man, you and John, you were working together so well that, it seemed like you had that 1-2 guaranteed. But, man, just talk to us about it, Greg. Guide us through your feelings here.
I think it was just I was out front so much, and you're pushing more air that way. John was saving, and the old saying, things happen. I pitted. I thought I took enough fuel for the end, but I didn't. I come up a little short, so that's fine. We're on the podium, and I don't think we have any incident points, so that's good.
Well, Greg, just the sheer fact that you're able to pull that out of it after that frustrating run, that's a good run for you, Greg. I'm proud of you, man. That's a good attitude to have because I can tell you, after leading that whole thing with all those cautions, I don't know if I'd have had that same attitude. So, hell of a job, man. You're a class act here, Greg. We love having you. Good run here on the P3, man. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you and all the volunteers at C2C and Moyer Farm Management, of course, and Abandoned Cat Rescue and Every Child Matters. That's about it.
Well, hey, hell of a job, Greg. Good run, man. I know this is frustrating, but you're going to walk out of here still the points leader, so that's something to hang your hat on. Good run, man.
Yeah, thanks. No, enjoyed it, and we'll make it happen again next week.
Amen, Greg. Good run. Look forward to seeing it.
Okay, ciao.
And now I don't see Bob Curtis in here yet, so we're going to bring up our winner. We'll skip over Bob for the moment. John, I talked to you early on, and we both thought, hey, man, you're in a pretty good spot. You're looking good. Was there any thought with all those cautions that, Greg was going to be close on gas and, you'd get the lead that way?
I didn't know what Greg's fuel issue was. And it's very unfortunate too that he had to go in to get fuel because he was the top guy for the whole race, and I think I was very lucky there, Shaggy, sitting in behind Greg. Of course, I wasn't using the fuel up as quickly as he was, so I was very fortunate to have just enough fuel with all those cautions just to get around. When I pulled up the park for my picture, I had 0.1 gallon of fuel left. Like I was just about empty, so I was very lucky there. But yeah, it was that was a hell of a exciting race for sure.
Yeah, you're able to hold on there P2 most of the time, and you just got that rear bumper of the 014 right in front of the windshield. Yeah, just talk to us a little bit about. What strategy goes into that? Dude, the way you were getting you two to pull away on every restart, it was phenomenal. How much skill does it take, John, to get that close to Greg and not push him? Because you can't bump draft in these, obviously.
No, you can't. You have to well, I'm pretty good at knowing the distance from my car to the car in front most of the time, but
can you share some of that with me? I think I might need that.
Yeah, but on the green light to go, I was trying to as soon as I seen Greg taking off, I was just trying to use my reaction time and stick right with him there, and I was lucky enough that I was able to do that on most of the startup restart. And as I said to you earlier, Shaggy, I was just trying to tuck myself in behind Greg without making him think that I was going to go by him. But I just wanted us to pick up the speed going around lap to lap to get ahead of the other cars, and it worked out very well for us. But unfortunately, with Greg being out in front for that, with the amount of caution we had, he ran low on fuel.
Yeah, those caution laps not counting tonight ended up killing that 014, man, but it worked out in your favor. You played that long game. You played smart, rode around in second, and John, you led the most important lap there, that last one. So congratulations, boss. I'm pumped for you. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, thanks, Shaggy. Yeah, I really want to thank, of course, our ongoing sponsor, Mower Farm Management, our Salty Dog Racing Team, which is always there, and Flatline Racing Bodies, Coast to Coast Racing, Roger Craig, of course, for putting this league together, and all the other drivers that help out in so many various ways. So I want to thank all of them, and then certainly thank you, Shaggy, for broadcasting these races. That makes it so much more exciting, and you always do such an excellent job broadcasting.
Well, I appreciate that, John. Means a lot coming from you guys. You guys, I talked about it tonight. You guys are my family. I spend as much time with you as I do anyone else. So love doing this for you guys. It's a lot of fun, man. You put on a good show. Great run tonight, John, and I look forward to a lot more of these this season, my man.
Yeah, thanks, Shag. I really appreciate it, and you have a good night.
You as well, John. And that's our winner there in the 302, John Rayner. Strategy played into his favor, not exactly the way him and I thought it would, but able to save gas there with all those cautions in the 302. Got it done with a convincing win here at Daytona. Tough break for the 014 of Greg Boydell, as he's going to have to just look a little deeper here, try to think, what could I have done different? And the answer is nothing, Greg. You ran a good race and just one you got to shake off and got to go back and get them next week. But behalf of everybody on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, I'd like to thank you here for tuning in to Old Timers Tuesday here, presented by Maurer Farm Management. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV. Gonna say thank you for all my friends at Coast to Coast, Roger Craig, Patrick Spengler, Jeff Barker, all the other admins, Bill Calder, every dog in here that gets it done. We appreciate you, but we're signing off here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Have a good evening.